It might have been the worst NXT card that I have seen in a long time, but did the show disappoint? Or was it actually pretty good? That is what we're going to find out here today. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling for the 9th of May 2023 NXT review. Now, I did mention in the preview for this show how I thought the match card was incredibly weak. There was like 4 or 5 matches that was just full of people that shouldn't even be on NXT, never mind be taking up so many matches on the card. Now, yeah, there was important matches. We did have a big main event. We did have 2 NXT Women's Tournament quarterfinal matches, but the other 4 matches were just... And there was even a set of tag team titles on the line as well, but I mean, the other matches were really random. It's like, I can understand maybe having like one of them on the show, but why they decided to put so many poor, matches with just people that aren't really over, haven't really been exposed yet. It made no sense to me, but we've watched it now, we're past it now, and now we need to talk about the show. So, we basically get introduced to the tournament. They announce the tournament. Well, the tournament's already announced, but they kind of show you brackets and stuff, and then we find out who's going to be opening up this NXT Women's Title Tournament. In the first round match is Tiffany Stratton versus Gigi Dolan. Gigi Dolan. You know what? I just... no offense against Gigi Dolan, but I think her attire is ugly as fuck. I don't know why she doesn't pick a better attire. Surely there is something that would make her look hotter, especially with that big, like, fat, juicy ass. Why is she wearing an attire that it looks horrible, man. It does. It does look horrible. Every time I see her wrestle now, her attire distracts me. I just don't know why we can't see something better. It's like the dollar store fucking attire. So yeah, I'm not too sure why she wears that, but whatever, she loses to Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton hits the moonsault off the top rope. She was working on the arm as well. And yeah, Tiffany Stratton gets the win. The rightful winner won here, in my opinion. Tiffany Stratton should have won. I was expecting maybe some sort of outside interference here for Jacy Jayne to come in and attack Gigi, but didn't happen. And Tiffany Stratton picked up the victory. So I guess a good win for her. We then move on to the next match of the night, which was so unforgettable. I can't even remember. It was Gallas. Yeah, it was the tag team titles. So we see Gallas taking on the Diads for the tag team titles. Ava Raine got involved, tried to obviously screw Gallas, but then Ivy Nile came out and attacked her. So obviously you have to have a woman come out to save the men, because men can't save themselves against women. We know how WWE works, and the Diads end up losing to the Gallas boys. So there you go. Gallas boys on top, and they retain. We also seen in a barber shop, we've seen Carmelo Hayes and Trick talking. Trick says he's going to put a beating on Bron Breakker tonight. Carmelo Hayes says he doesn't have to do this, but Trick says he does, and he's been training and working harder than ever. Trick says he's going to do it not only for Carmelo, but for himself, because he wants to prove what he's been saying all along. So yeah, basically Trick is like, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to go out and I'm going to whoop Bron Breakker's ass. Will he though? We will find out. Then we see... What do we see after that? We see... It's into the next match, so yeah, my bad. Into the next match, it's Xavier Bernal versus Duke Hudson. Duke Hudson beats Xavier Bernal. This Xavier Bernal guy going absolutely nowhere. I don't mind Duke Hudson, but yeah, I mean, it's obvious the guy's turning heel, so I guess we await the return of Andre Chase and see if he can try and wrestle back his University away from Duke Hudson, who's practically stolen it at this stage. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Chase returns. And yeah, that was that really. We then seen a video of a mystery figure watching the recent sneak attacks on Sol Ruka, Wendy Chu and Nikita Lyons. Who is it? Who's it going to be? We do not know. So yeah, that's it. That was done. We moved on. We got Fawn Fagner and Mr. Stone backstage. Von Fagner appears to have, like, I don't know, anger issues. Some guy offered him ice cream and Von Fagner didn't want it and kind of like threw the guy across the backstage area. Strange one, very strange. Then we got Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp. I mean, another match that, I mean, just nobody cares for. Honestly, this Damon Kemp guy's been around a while, done nothing. Eddie Thorpe, I think, it's just debuted in the last month and again, done nothing. I just don't think anybody wants to see Kemp versus Thorpe, but this is not an attraction, this is not an interesting match, this is not something you look at and go, I need to see that. This is like NXT level up material. So yeah, Eddie Thorpe wins, but again, there was so many matches like this tonight that were just boring and didn't need to happen. We then got Ilya Dragunov versus D-Jack. I was hoping Ilya Dragunov would move to Raw or SmackDown because I can't stand the guy and he seems to take up a lot of time on NXT. D-Jack really should be killing him. Now, he didn't kill him in terms of pick up the win, but he did kind of kill him in terms of destroying him. So he attacks Ilya Dragunov with the chair, beats him up with the chair, and then he gets like the steel steps and he's got Dragunov down and he puts the steel steps over Dragunov's body, then stands on top of the steel steps, pinning Dragunov to the floor. It was like, well, you don't really see this. I can't really recall seeing a spot like this, so it was unique. And D-Jack standing there, standing on top of the steel steps while Dragunov is pinned down underneath them. It was a cool visual, I'll give them that. It's not often you see this, and I suppose a lot of stuff in wrestling's been done, so it is harder to come up with new shit, but yeah, this was different. D-Jack then, I think he lost due to DQ, but, you know, I don't think he will really care. Then we got Tyler Bate versus Charlie Dempsey. Just another match nobody wants to see. Look, people are saying Charlie Dempsey looks like William Regal. Yeah, William Regal with all the fucking comedy and personality. I mean, this Charlie Dempsey guy's absolutely sucks. He's just a guy in wrestling tights. Wrestling, that is it. That is all you get with Charlie Dempsey. I've no interest in Charlie Dempsey. He does beat Tyler Bate due to outside interference with Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy came in, cracked Tyler Bate in the head, and that allowed Charlie Dempsey to get the win. So, big win for Dempsey. Then we see Noam Dar next week. He's going to invite Dragon Lee onto his session, Supernova Sessions. He's relaunching this show, Supernova Sessions, and I just can't think of anything worse. This guy with like zero fucking charisma. Noam Dar, been there, done that. This guy is failed now for a long time, and we're going to give him a gimmick. Well, apparently he's already had this back in the day, but for me, Noam Dar's done. I mean, this is a guy that's going nowhere. We don't want to see him. He's had a chance. This whole thing running around shouting, Alicia Fox, Alicia Fox. I mean, where did that get him? It got him nowhere. This guy, I just don't see the value in this guy. Small, 5-foot guy, weighs about 120 pounds. Why are we wasting? And he can't be young anymore because he's been around for quite a while. He must be into his 30s, and even if he's not, I don't care if he's 28 or something like that. I just don't see any potential in the guy. So why we're rebooting this guy, why we're bringing him back to NXT and going to waste time on him, I do not know. If we're being honest, there's so many people on this roster that should just be cut. I mean, you can tell if someone's going to make it, and you can tell if someone's not going to make it. You look at Braun Breaker, and you look at Grayson Waller, you look at Tony D, you look at D-Jack, you look at Carmelo Hayes, you look at Pretty Deadly even, you know, you can look at these people and you can see that, right, they've got something. They can do something in this business. I mean, you look at Noam Dar, and what are you getting? You're getting nothing. So why we're going to go back and push him, I do not know. But that appears to be what we're doing. Then we got Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. I mean, you talk about bum match after bum match after bum match. This was a tough watch. Very, very tough watch. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen won. There was no talk of like Kiana James. Kiana James was not interfering or anything like that. So looks like maybe that story is done. I thought we were going to get Kiana James trying to apologise or something like that and trying to get back. And Brooks is good books, but that didn't happen, so yeah, whatever. We then go to a Nathan Fraser, hard-hitting home truths. He basically makes fun of Supernova. Noam Dar basically says that he's like delusional, he's in denial. and he's pathetic the way he walks about holding the Heritage Cup like a baby, and it's likely that one day he won't have that baby much longer and his whole world will come crashing down. Wasn't really that good. I preferred the original one that he done, but then again, he is working with Noam Dar as source material, so how good can you really expect this to be? Then we got the next round of the Women's NXT title tournament. It was Lyra Valkyrie versus Kiana James. Lyra Valkyrie gets the win. I don't really see what people see in this Lyra Valkyrie. She literally has just like risen up the NXT women's ranks in the past like 2 months or whatever, you know, and all of a sudden now she's like deemed to be a main eventer. But for me, I personally just don't really see it. I'm not keen on Lyra Valkyrie. I just don't get it, you know. I don't think she has that much. I think that there's a lot of women on the roster that's better than her. And yeah, well, that's just my opinion, but Lyra Valkyrie wins. I wasn't surprised. I mean, personally, I'd have probably had Kiana James go through, but whatever. Lyra Valkyrie is the winner. Then we go to the Gallus boys. They're celebrating in a pub. Tony D and Stacks walk in. They congratulate them. They say that they've got a few words. Tony says he just wants the next title shot. Gallus get aggressive and threaten them. Tell them to leave. Tony says they will leave. But Gallus is stateside now, so they need to watch who they threaten. Tony says they will get their title shot. Then a few Gallus henchmen show up and surround Tony and Stacks when it looks like a fight's going to break out. But Stacks reminds Tony they're outnumbered and they leave. I mean, it was okay. It was nothing groundbreaking, but you know, these are interesting little vignettes where they're happening away from wrestling. They're happening in different locations. You know, it's nice to see stuff in wrestling that isn't in the ring or isn't just sitting backstage, you know, in front of the fucking Titan throne or whatever, man. It's actually nice to see them take things and go to different locations and shoot different shots. So yeah, I mean, again, it was nothing great. They just kind of walked in, realised they were outnumbered, then walked out. But it was interesting, and it continues the feud. So here's hoping that one day the family can win some gold. I do believe that Tony D needs to add a member to the family. I mean, he's pretty much promoted Stacks now. He views Stacks as like a top guy. So maybe he needs to bring someone in, you know, like a prospect sort of level, an errand boy, so to speak. I think that would be pretty good for the family if they did that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Then the main event, Bron Breakker versus Trick Williams. I thought this match was very good. You know what, Trick Williams, is he the best wrestler? No, but he is pretty athletic, and him and Bron Breakker, I just thought they had a decent match. You know, I thought it worked. Trick Williams looked pretty good as well in terms of the amount of like offense he got in, so it was like a good 50-50 match. But Bron Breakker in the end wins with a big spear after Trick Williams is going for like his rotating roundhouse kick, and then he puts in the Steiner recliner, and Trick Williams has to tap. He doesn't let go though. He wants to punish Trick Williams, wants to put him in the hospital. So then Carmelo Hayes comes out, gets a couple of punches and goes for a springboard, and then Bron Breakker catches him in midair with a massive spear, snapping him in half. So yeah, great to see Bron Breakker turning heel. In my opinion, this was needed. I think face Bron Breakker was getting a little bit stale, especially the fact that he had like this really long title reign, and I was just getting a bit sick of it. But now Bron Breakker going heel is good, and we even seen in the match he had a pin on Trick Williams, and he decided to not go for the pin. He actually moved himself off a trick to do push-ups, and that reminded me of Scott Steiner, so big shout out to that. Holla if you hear me. I thought that was good. But that's it. That was it for NXT, guys. I mean, I did enjoy the main event. I thought the main event was good. I thought the main event was very good, but unfortunately everything else wasn't that great, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. I just can't really get any more than that. I did enjoy the main event. Not everything else was bad, but there was so many bad matches on this show that just did not interest me whatsoever. So yeah, 3 out of 10, guys. That's the rating I'm giving it. Let me know what you think down below. I will catch you in the next one. And of course, until then, peace.